Shalom, Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple. I'm pre-recording this today, Friday, right before the Shabbat tomorrow. We didn't get in all of our daily bread this week, so I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this one in. I'll post it in the morning. We will be reading Exodus 26, John 7, Psalm 73, and Proverbs 25 today. Let's see. Yesterday, Moses had been given the instructions, explicit instructions on how to build the Ark of the Covenant and the shewbread table. And so today we'll look at some more of Moses up on the mount, getting instruction, I believe. Today we will actually be reading in Exodus, we'll be reading the explicit instructions on building the temple, or the tabernacle, sorry. And so, let's get with that. Just a little something that I was thinking about. After reading when we talked about the cubits yesterday, and how that depending on the size of the man, that there'd be a little variation in a cubit. Kind of got me thinking, you know, Yahweh has very explicit instructions on building the tabernacle, on building the shewbread table and the Ark of the Covenant. But there's a little bit of leeway there. I mean, a tiny bit, depending on the man. Now, don't hear me wrong. Please don't hear me wrong. Each and every one of us, there is a little variation in how we're going to operate in Yahweh. A tiny bit of variation. Now, the word is the standard, bar none, from Genesis to Revelation. But each of us have our own calling, our own abilities, our own strengths, our own weaknesses. So, as I was thinking about that cubit, how there was just a little variation, you know, between Moses and Aaron, a cubit's going to be maybe an inch difference, maybe a half-inch difference. And so each and every one of us, the standard is there. But there is that little variation that each of us are afforded as we walk in Yeshua and as we walk in Yahweh. Now, like I said, don't hear me wrong and say, well, he says that, you know, some people have to follow this. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a standard. But each of us operate in Yahweh a little bit different variation. With that said, let's get to reading. You don't think about that. Let's get some daily bread here. Exodus 26:1, or Shemot 26:1. And make the dwelling place with 10 curtains of fine woven linen, blue and purple and scarlet material. Make them with cherubim, the work of a skilled workman. That would be a tradesman, a journeyman, what we would consider a journeyman today, that is an expert in that field, whether it be electricity or building cabinets, furniture making, out here in the oil field. Again, going back to that cubit we were just talking about. A skilled workman. All right, verse 2. The length of each curtain is 28 cubits. The width of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains having one measure. In other words, this is the curtain. This is the size of this curtain, and this is going to be the same size as all the rest of the curtains. Don't make them different. Don't have Moses doing cubits over here on the north side and Aaron doing his measurement on the curtains over on the left side. No, have one person measuring and making the curtains. Five curtains are joined to each other, and 5 curtains are joined to each other, and 5 curtains are joined to each other. And you shall make loops of blue on the edge of the end end curtain on one set, and do the same on the edge of the end curtain on the second set. Make 50 loops in the one curtain, and make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain of the second set, the loops being opposite to one another. And you shall make 50 hooks of gold, and shall join the curtains together with the hooks, and the dwelling place shall be one. And you shall make curtains of goat's hair, for a tent over the dwelling place. Make 11 curtains. The length of each curtain is 30 cubits. The width of each curtain 4 cubits. One measure to the 11 curtains. And you shall join the 5 curtains by themselves, and the 6 curtains by themselves, and you shall double over the 6 curtains at the front of the tent. And you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in the set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain of the second set. And you shall make 50 bronze hooks, and put the hooks into the loops, and join the tent together, and it shall be one. And the overlapping part of the rest of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the dwelling place. All right, now think about this also. Each one of these curtains, specific design, all to be one, right? How come we in this culture, the Pharisees, those who came before us, those who are going to come after us should Jesus tarry, how come we think we got different ways we can operate our churches, our church assemblies? How come? Now this is very specific on building the tabernacle, but this is also a prophetic word for the people, that we are to be one. We are to be the likeness of Christ. There's only one Messiah. There's only one way. But yet there's 42,000 different denominations of Christianity today in America. Because we want to be different curtains. You know, I don't like the color of that curtain over there, and I don't like the length of it, so I'm going to change the length. Because Yahweh is such a forgiving God, and I'm right. There's no way I could possibly be wrong. That's our mentality, y'all. See, when we read the Old Testament, when we read these accounts of men who did it, who went before us, or who failed, the message is so in depth. If we would just think about it, Yahweh has this set and designed for us for a purpose, for a specific purpose, that if we will just follow this one book, that is the standard, and change our lives when our lives contradict this word, rather than changing the word a little bit so it fits our lives and we can live comfortable, happily ever after. Verse 12. And the overlapping part of the rest of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the dwelling place, and a cubit on one side and a cubit on the other side of what remains of the length of the curtains of the tent is to hang over the sides of the dwelling place, on this side and on that side, to cover it. And you shall make a covering of ram skins dyed red for the tent, and a covering of fine leather above that. And the dwelling place you shall make the boards of acacia wood, standing up. 10 cubits is the length of a board, and a cubit and a half the width of each board. 2 tenons in each board for binding to one another. Do the same for all the boards of the dwelling place. And you shall make the boards for the dwelling place, 20 boards for the south side, and make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under each of the boards for its 2 tenons, and for the second side of the dwelling place on the north side, 20 boards. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under each of the boards. And for the extreme parts of the dwelling place, westward, make 6 boards. And make 2 boards for the 2 back corners of the dwelling place. And they are doubled beneath, and similarly they are complete to the top, to one ring. So it is for both of them, they are for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under the one board, and 2 sockets under the other. Okay, these sockets are If you've ever built like maybe a back porch, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you shop at and buy these concrete blocks that are kind of, it's not a pyramid, but similar to a pyramid because it's wider at the bottom than it is up on top. And then right in the dead center of that, it's got a 4x4 square that's about 3 inches deep. And you can set a 4x4 in there, but then coming off of it, it has the space where you can lay a 2x4 in there and attach it to that 4x4, and that be your foundation, that be your block. That's sort of what similar to these sockets we're talking about here. Verse 27, and 5 bars for the boards on the other side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the dwelling place, for the extreme parts westward, with the middle bar in the midst of the boards, going through from end to end, and overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold as holders for the bars, and overlay the bars with gold. And you shall raise up the dwelling place according to its pattern, which you were shown on the mountain. And you shall make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, and the work of a skilled workman made with cherubim. And you shall put it on the 4 columns of acacia wood overlaid with gold, their hooks of gold upon 4 sockets of silver. And you shall hang the veil from the hooks, and you shall bring the ark of the witness there behind the veil, and the veil shall make a separation for you between the holy place, or holy and most set apart place, or the set apart and the most set apart place. All right, the set apart place is the tabernacle. The most set apart place is the tent in the middle, where the high priest will go in once a year and make atonement. So you got the holy place, which is tabernacle, and you got the holy of holies. When we hear that phrase, holy of holies, that's that inside tent, that's that inside dwelling place for the high priest. That's where the shewbread table's at and whatnot. So, reading on. And you shall put the lid of atonement upon the ark of the witness in the most set apart place. All right, so the ark of the covenant will go and dwell inside, remain inside of the Holy of Holies. So in other words, not everybody is going to get to see the Ark of the Covenant. All right. Yeah. Did I say that right? Yeah, Ark of the Covenant. You ever say something and you're like, that's not right? Anyway, I better get on. I'm already 13 minutes in. And you shall set the table outside the veil, and the lampstand opposite the table on the side of the dwelling place toward the south, put the table on the north side. And you shall make a covering for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet material and fine woven linen made by a weaver. And you shall make for the covering 5 columns of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, their hooks of gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of bronze for them. Notice that we got sockets of silver and we got sockets of bronze. That is different authorities, what we could say. You know, when we move forward and get to Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar's dream. You know, you got the head of gold, you know, and then the chest of silver and the waist of bronze and whatnot. All the way down to the feet of, what is it? Bronze and clay that do not mix with one another. Different levels of authority. So usually, most of the time, when we get to this part of scriptures, when we start reading, you know, either names or right here, this specific way of building the tabernacle, we just kind of skim through it or boogie on through there, maybe even skip the chapter until we get to a part that's a good part. That's why I like doing the daily bread the way I do it, because it's discipline. You know, we're going to read this whether it's enjoyable or boring. You know, And to each and every one of us, again, back to that cubit being a little bit different, each and every one of us have different things that stimulate our mind. Different things that we like. Some people like cowboy movies, and some people like shoot 'em up, bang bang movies, and some people like love stories. Well, the Bible's full of those different accounts, and some of us like some of us like others. And so this makes us disciplined to read every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahweh. I managed to take up quite a bit of time on Exodus this morning. Let's get to, let's read our Psalms. Tehillim 73. Right? Yep. 73. Elohim is truly good to Israel, to those whose heart is clean. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled. My steps had nearly slipped, for I was envious of the boasters. Right? He's looking at those who are, good things are coming to us, or to our neighbor, and it's like, man, I wish I could be like him, but he's wicked over here. You know, he got a different girl coming into that house every night. But yet we envy that. We got to take a step back and go, ooh, what are we envying? We're supposed to run from evil. Read, Matt. We're going to be an hour long on here. When I saw the peace of the wrongdoers, for death has no pangs for them, and their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, and they are not plagued like other men. So pride is their necklace. The garment of violence covers them. Their eyes bulge from fatness. Their heart overflows with imaginations. They mock and speak in the evil of oppression. They speak loftily. And they have set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walks through the earth, saying, therefore his people return here, and waters of a filled cup are drained by them. And they have said, how could El know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? See, these are the wrong, and always at ease, and they have amassed wealth. Indeed, in vain have I cleansed my heart, and washed my hands in innocence, for I am plagued all day long, and my reproof is every morning. If I had said, let me speak thus, see, I would have deceived a generation of your children. There's a remnant of those who are seeking truth, diligently following Yahweh's word. There's a small remnant versus the multitudes of false prophets and teachers that are on TBN. Yet when I tried to understand this, it was labor to my eyes, until I went into the holy place of El. Then I perceived therein, indeed, you set them in slippery places, and you make them fall to ruin. How suddenly they are ruined, completely swept away through destruction. Yahweh, when you awake, you despise their image, as one does a dream after waking. For my heart was in a ferment, and I was pierced in my kidneys. I was stupid and ignorant. I was like a beast toward you. Yet I am always with you. You took hold of my right hand, and you lead me by your counsel. Afterward, receive me unto esteem. Whom do I have in the heavens? And I have desired no one besides you on earth. My flesh and my heart shall waste away, but Elohim is the rock of my heart, and my portion forever. For look, those who are far from you perish, and you shall cut off all those who go whoring away from you. But as for me, it is good to be near Elohim, and I have made my refuge in the Master Yahweh, to declare all your works. Some of his works? No. All. Part of his works? No. All of his works. We got to get that all part, y'all. We really do, because we are in a generation that looks like some of the parts. 25, Proverbs, Mishle. These two are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, sovereign of Yehuda, copied. It is the esteem of Elohim to hide a matter, and the esteem of sovereigns to search out a matter. All right. It's the glory and honor of God, Yahweh, to conceal truths in this word. It is glory and honor for kings to search that matter out. We, men, are the kings of our homes. We are to search these matters like the Bereans, day and night, and then relay that to our immediate family, our wives, our children. Women, if you don't have a husband, for whatever reason, you need to find a way to get submitted to an authority, an earthly authority that has Yahweh's best interest at hand, making your best interest at hand. And I know that's hard to hear in this generation. Women these days, as a whole, do not like to hear that. And men think, oh yeah, I'm the king. I can just tell my wife and all these women do whatever. No, you don't get to do that either, man. You've got to do it in a loving manner that is, first of all, seeking the kingdom, seeking Yahweh, and that love overflowing, that grace, mercy overflowing from you on to your spouse, your children, those who you have authority over. Verse 3, in the heavens for height and the earth for depth, but the heart of the king is unsearchable. Take away the dross from silver, and a vessel comes forth from the refiner. Now the dross is the impurities when you melt silver or gold down, or even any metal, but mainly silver and gold. That impurity that comes when you heat up the metal to a liquid state, the impurities float to the top. You wipe that off. That's the way we should be refining our lives, is bringing up the impurities and wiping them off. Verse 5, take away the wrong from before the king, and his throne is established in righteousness. Do not exalt yourself before a king, and do not stand in the place of great men. Okay? Don't just use me for example on this one. Let I not boast that, hey, I'm up there with Peter and Saul and Paul and all these great men. I'm up there with them. I cannot exalt myself to that position. If I do, I'm prideful and I'll be knocked down. For it is better for him to say to you, come here, than that you should be put lower before a noble whom your eyes have seen. It's better to be called over to the front and sit at the table with kings and other shepherds, to be called there, than to go sit down on your own and have someone tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you need to go over there with the children at the children's table. That's going to hurt your pride. It's going to cause anger and stir anger in you and resentment. Allow the Lord to exalt you. Don't exalt yourself. Verse 8, do not go forth to strive in haste, for what would you do in the end when your neighbor has put you to shame? Plead your case with your neighbor himself, and do not disclose the secret of another. If somebody confides in you, it's like my ministry. If someone comes to me and talks to me in private, I don't go and spread that all over town. Hey, did you hear what so-and-so did? Do you know what so-and-so's got going on? Absolutely not. You come to me in confidentiality, it's right here. That's as far as it goes. Me and Yahweh will deal with it. And when I say me and Yahweh will deal with it, what I mean is I'll only pray about it. I'll only speak it before the Lord. I ain't going to speak it before other people. I'm not going to lose your trust there. Verse 10, lest he who hears it put you to shame, and your evil report turn not back. A word spoken at the right time is like apples of gold in settings of silver. A ring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise one's reproof to an ear that hears. Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a trustworthy messenger to those who send him. For he refreshes the life of his masters, and he who boasts of his gifts falsely is like clouds and wind without rain. Clouds without rain. Men who have exalted themselves. I'm I'm not going to do that today. There are famous pastors today, and when I say famous, they're on TBN, they're always on TV, they're always talked about. They use bits and pieces of scripture to make things sound right, so you'll send them money so they can get richer. That's clouds without rain. They have no truth. Half-truths are whole lies. Their whole ministry is based on a lie. Verse 15, through patience a ruler is persuaded, and a soft tongue shatters a bone. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, unless you be satisfied with it and vomit. Make your foot rare in your neighbor's house, lest he gets enough of you and hate you. Don't wear out your welcome. A man bearing false witness against his neighbor is like a club and a sword with a sharp arrow. Trust in a treacherous man in a time of distress is like a broken tooth or a foot out of joint. One who takes away a garment in cold weather is like vinegar on soda, and a singer of songs on an evil heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. How hard is that? Even if it's your enemy. Jesus says that if you do this for the least of these, you are mine, you are his. For you are heaping coals of fire on his head, and Yahweh reward you. The north wind brings rain, and a secret tongue, and enraged face. It is better to dwell in the corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Being unequally yoked with this woman is the hardest thing for a God-fearing man to have to deal with. Also, again, this is Proverbs, wisdom, women equal church, doctrine, whatnot. These false doctrines that are today, that's a contentious woman. It's going to always keep you frustrated because there's no truth in it. It's unequally yoked with Yahweh. Verse 25, like cold water to a parched throat is good news from a distant land, and a righteous man who gives way before the wrong is like a muddied spring in a ruined fountain. It is not good to eat much honey. Is it esteemed to seek one's own esteem? A man who has no control over his spirit is like a broken down city without a wall. Let's get to John. I'll try to keep these around 30 minutes, but the Holy Spirit leads us. We're going to go with what the Holy Spirit says. John 7, verse 1 says, and after this, Yeshua was walking in Galilee, for he did not wish to walk in Yehuda, because the Yehudim were seeking to kill him. And the festival of Yehudim was near, the festival of Sukkot, or Feast of Tabernacles. This is where we go camping for 8 days. We don't have to do that no more. Yes, you do. Well, maybe you don't, but I do. Verse 3, so his brother said to him, get away from here and go to Yehuda, so that your taught ones also see the works that you are doing. For no one acts in secret while he himself seeks to be known openly. If you do these works, show yourself to the world, for even his brothers did not believe in him. Yeshua therefore said to them, my time has not yet come, but your time is always ready. It is impossible for the world to hate you, but it hates me because I bear witness of it, that its works are wicked. Now, if we just took that out of context, we'd be in trouble. Verse 8, you go up to this festival. I am not yet going to the festival, for my time has not yet been filled. And having said this to them, he stayed in Galilee. But when his brothers had gone up to the festival, then he also went up, not openly, but as it were in secret. The Yehudim therefore were seeking him at the festival and said, where is he? And there was much grumbling about him being Yeshua, Jesus, among the crowd. Some were saying, he is good, but others saying, no, but he is leading the crowd astray. However, no one spoke openly of him for the fear of the Yehudim, the Jews. And about the middle of the festival, Yeshua went up to the set-apart place and was teaching. And the Yehudim were marveling, saying, How does this man know letters, not having learned? Yeshua answered them and said, my teaching is not mine, but is his who sent me. Same thing I say about the scriptures. I'm not that smart. Not. The understanding that I have in the scriptures is because, first of all, I diligently set myself to read the scriptures. But the Holy Spirit has given me not only understanding, but utterance to relay that. You're not supposed to hold it in. You're not supposed to get all this knowledge and then just keep it a secret. We're not secret agent followers of Yeshua. If anyone desires to do his desire, he shall know concerning the teaching whether it is from Elohim or whether I speak for myself. If anyone desires to do his desire, God's desire, he shall know concerning the teaching whether it is from Elohim. When you know the truth, you can't be deceived by fallacies. You won't be and you can't be. He who speaks from himself is seeking his own glory, but he who seeks the esteem of the one who sent him is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Did not Moshe give you the Torah? Yet not one of you does the Torah. Why do you seek to kill me? The truth is here. When I broke free from the world, when I broke free from modern churchianity, Christianity, religiosity, I had more backlash about doing what the Torah said. I'm not eating pork no more. I'm not eating shrimp no more. I'm not doing Christmas and Easter. I took more criticism and backlash from that than anything I'd ever done. From church members, not from the world. The world didn't care. But from church, from those who claim to be lovers of Yeshua. It's the same thing Jesus is saying here. Why do you seek to kill me when you don't even... You seek to kill me for blasphemy, but you don't do what God tells you to do. You've made up your own rules. The crowd answered and said, you have a demon. Who seeks to kill you? Yeshua answered and said to them, I did one work and you marveled. You all marveled. Because of this, Moshe has given you the circumcision, though it is not from Moshe, but from the fathers. And you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath, so that the Torah of Moshe should not be broken, are you wroth with me because I made a man entirely well on the Sabbath? Ruh-roh! Do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. Therefore some of them from Jerusalem said, is this not he whom they are seeking to kill? And see, he speaks boldly, and they say none at all to him. Could it be that the rulers truly know that he is truly the Messiah? It's kind of like when they come to get him in the garden. He's like, I was in the temple teaching all day long, and y'all did nothing. Y'all come out here in secret with this big army of men to get me? Y'all fell and bumped your head. But we know where this one is from, and when the Messiah comes, no one knows where he is from. Yeshua therefore cried out in the set-apart place, teaching and saying, you both know me, and you know where I'm from, and I have not come of myself, but he who sent me is true, whom you do not know. But I know him because I am from him, and he sent me. So they were seeking to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him because his hour had not yet come. And many of the crowd believed in him and said, when the Messiah comes, shall he do more signs than these, which this one did? What more possibly could someone else do? Could the true Messiah do more than what this man is doing? There's really not much else. All the puzzle pieces are lined up, yet we ain't putting a picture together. Same thing we're doing with this damn COVID-19. The Pharisees heard the crowd muttering these matters concerning him, and the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to seize him. Therefore Yeshua said to them, yet a little while I am with you, and I go to him who sent me. You shall seek me, and you shall not find me, and where I am, you are unable to come. The Yehudim therefore said to themselves, where is he about to go, that we shall not find him? Is he about to go to the dispersion among the Greeks, and to teach the Greeks? What is this word which he said, you shall seek me, and you shall not find me, and where I am, you are unable to come? And on the last day, the great day of the festival, Yeshua stood and cried out, saying, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me, and let him who believes in me drink. As the scripture said, out of his innermost shall flow rivers of living water. And this he said concerning the Spirit, which those believing in him were about to receive. For the set-apart Spirit was not yet given, because Yeshua was not yet esteemed. Many from the crowd then heard the word, then said, this truly is the prophet. Others said, this is the Messiah. But others said, does the Messiah then come from Galilee? Did not the scripture say that Messiah comes from the seed of David, and from the village of Bethlehem, where David was? So a division came about among the people because of him. And some of them wished to take him, but no one laid hands on him. And the officers therefore came to the chief priests and Pharisees, and they said to them, why did you not bring him? The officers answered, never has any man spoken like this man. We just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. It didn't feel right. The Pharisees therefore answered them, have you also been led astray? Has any one of the rulers or of the Pharisees believed in him? But this crowd that does not know the Torah is accursed. They're doomed. Nicodemus, he who came to Yeshua by night, being one of them, said to them, does our Torah judge the man unless it hears first from him and knows what he's doing? They answered and said to him, are you also from Galilee? Search and see that no prophet has arisen out of Galilee. And each one went to his house. Dissension among the ranks, decision among the church, all sorts of issues stemming from truth being told. Same thing we got going on today. Speak the truth, and you cause all kinds of division. Jesus says, I didn't come to bring peace to y'all. I come to bring the sword of division. Mother against daughter. Mother-in-law against daughter-in-law. Son against father. Brother against brother. Sister against sister. What's that mean? Same thing. As I come out of the world, as I come out of the church, I had issue within my own family. That's the division he's speaking about. When you follow the truth, don't expect everyone to get in line with you. You know, I didn't know how my wife and children were going to react when no more Christmas, no more Easter. You know, it was two of their favorite holidays. But because Yahweh had restored my marriage, and because Yahweh had given me a wife who was all about serving the kingdom, there was no problem. My daughter's the same way. Yes, there's a little rebellion here and there, but you know what? I got rebellion in my own problems at times when it comes to reading the Word. The bottom line is are you willing to change your lifestyle to fit what Yahweh tells us to do? That's where we got to get, y'all. So, I'll post this in the morning. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. Soul Filled Disciple, and we'll catch you on the next reading. Y'all have a Shabbat Shalom tomorrow. I don't know if I said that right. See, sometimes I say things and it just don't sound right. Y'all be blessed.